Well, joining me now is our regular guest, Kirralie Smith, an advocate for girls and women's rights and for the safety of children in the face of the radical LGBTIQA+ political activists' push to make gender fluid. Kirralie is the spokeswoman for Binary Australia. And Kirralie, this has been one of the biggest news weeks for the truth about gender since you and I have been campaigning this space. It started with the Courier Mail in Queensland blowing the whistle on parents being kept in the dark, something that happens in the other states like New South Wales and Victoria. Now Kirralie, how are politicians getting away with these grooming policies in our schools?
Look, I mean, I think the majority of politicians are ignorant and quite frankly have no idea what's going on. I know some of the ones I've spoken to when I explain it to them are shocked or are in disbelief. But as you and I know, there are a handful of very activist, slanted politicians who know exactly what they're doing and what they're achieving. And it is very disturbing that these schools are getting away because of their policies that they can begin to socially transition children without parental knowledge or consent. And it's very dangerous because it usually does then lead down that affirmation pathway that has horrendous consequences.
Yeah, it is truly shocking that we are finding out. There's been no public debate. No one's asked the parents or the PNCs about these sort of policies. They've just been put in, and education ministers, at least in 3 states that we know of, have overseen these. Now, as you said, Kirralie, this puts children on a pathway towards the medicalisation of their gender dysphoria. The Weekend Australian carried the personal stories of parents who have lost their children to radical LGBTIQA+ gender fluid ideology. This was heartbreaking reading. We've got some of the headlines up on the screen. Tell us about some of the things that the parents were saying now that they've been given finally a platform in the mainstream media.
Yeah, look, and I think it was actually one of the children or the young people who said it best was that they were sold a lie, because it is a lie that someone can change their sex, and yet these parents are being told, oh, you're better to have a live daughter than a dead son, and this threat of suicide ideation held over them, and that it's puberty blockers are reversible. Another lie. Just this whole pathway, this whole industry captures children and makes them medical lifelong patients and customers who are going to be reliant on drugs for the rest of their lives. They're separating children from their parents, and it was very heartbreaking to read of the manipulative practices that are taught by these LGBT plus activists to separate them from their parents, to threaten suicide, to say that their parents are not affirming their choice of how they want to identify, and that because of the laws, that gives the school staff, police and others full opportunity to remove children from their parents, and those children are fully supported in consenting to something that they have no ability to consent to. We know they can't consent to a whole range of other things because their brain hasn't reached maturity or development, and yet children are being given the license to consent to these incredible, harmful, irreversible medical pathways.
Yeah, and heartbreaking, Kirralie, to see parents saying that they've lost a child to this insidious ideology.